Can't see your screen.
Okay, hold on. You're going to have two Unit 2 tests. One will be on Chapter 3. The other will be on Chapter 4. And you're going to know a good bit of Chapter 4 because that's your vertical and horizontal shifts, which we have been going over for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So a lot of Chapter 4 is calculator and stuff that you already know. You can also go over to the 110 section and pull up a lot of stuff that we're going over right now. Okay? The Math 110 section, I can't remember. Let me go over and show you right quick. The Math 110 section, for those of you that actually, go out of the way and actually do stuff, you can go into my playlist, 110, and I think it's, there it is, complete the square. I don't know why that says deleted. Complete the square homework questions, complete the square, all these are complete the square. Now this next section I go over tomorrow in the Math 110 will be like it's 4.1 and 4.2, so you might want to write that down. 4.1 and 4.2 in Math 110 is going to be like your 3 point, let me go back. It's going to be like your 4.1 and 4.2 and 3.4. So, it wouldn't hurt you to go over to the Math 110 videos and watch a few. You might see some more questions that you haven't seen. It's just up to you. All right, so I'm going to go over to this is 3.1, 23/8. And I'll look at your homework dates at the end of class, and if there's a mistake, I'll fix it. Okay, so first of all, we know it's not A. Let me turn on my handy-dandy whiteboard. Why is it not A?
Does it show me it wasn't A in the calculator?
No, that's not a good.
Parabola can go in that direction.
That's a hyperbola. We haven't even discussed these. Okay, what else is it not? It's not B. Why? It's concave up. So that leaves a 50-50 shot. Even if you're not cognitive, you got a 50-50 shot at getting this right. So what kind of vertex we got? -2 and -2. So which one is in the -2, -2? C. So that's how you answer that question. This is +2, -2. So it's not that one. So this question is deduction. Is this a test question? Hail to the yeah. Can somebody turn the light off over there? It's the back one. Thank you. Question, gripe, complaint. Settle down, Pendleton. Pendleton, did y'all do anything interesting this weekend?
Do we ever?
You don't tell anybody.
We're antisocial.
Appreciate it. That's all. I hate to see their evaluations. They all gonna call me a pastor. All right, consider the function -0.2 x squared minus 28x plus 308. Okay, first of all, do you want to use this decimal? No. You want to change that to a what? A fraction. So that way you'll know what's going on. So let's do this one. Is this a test question? Yes. So let's change it. 2 over 10 is 1 over what? 5. So change this to -1/5 x squared minus 28x plus 308 is equal to 0. -1/5 x squared minus 28x plus blank is equal to 308 plus blank. Now I'm going to divide by -1/2. So if I divide, 1/5, and that means I'm going to multiply this over here by -1/5. So what is 28? I'm going to divide by 1/5. That's going to be 28 divided by 1/5, which is positive 28 times 5. Well, 25 times 5 is $1.25. So what is 15 plus $1.40? Somebody help me out there. Somebody help me out. Is that the answer? What's 28 times 5, somebody?
140.
Thank you for the interaction 15 minutes later, but thank you.
All right.
What's half of 140?
70.
And 70 squared? Should you use a calculator for that? No. -1/5 x plus 700 quantity squared 70. Sorry. $70 is equal to, all right, somebody help me out here, because what's 49? Well, I'll do it. Forget it. -308 minus 5 will go into 49. 45 times, that's 9. And that'll leave 50, right? 110? I don't think that's right. 5 will go into 9 and leave 40. That'd be 40. 40. And 5 will go into 48 times, right? Somebody check, see what's 4,900 divided by 5. Okay, it's 980. Thank you,
Yes.
one person. 1/5 x plus 70 quantity squared is equal to -1188 or 1288. So our vertex is -70. Vertex is -70, comma, 1288. Of course, if you wrote that in, it would be f of x is equal to -1/5 x plus 70 quantity squared plus 1288, if you had to write it like that. If my math is right. And with y'all's help, slowly, hopefully that's correct. All right, if I divide by -1/5, I multiply by what? -5. Now somebody's going to say that'd be 4, it'd be 0, 4, 4, 9. Somebody check my math. What's 5 times 1288? I don't know, I can't hear you. What? 6,440.
Right.
I don't know where I got the 9. Is that it? All right, now take the square root of both sides. Go ahead and take the square root. Just give me a decimal. I have no idea. I'm not Rain Man. What's the square root of 6440?
80.25. 80.25.
80.25 minus 70. So that's going to be 10.25. And then -80 minus, or that's supposed to be a 5. -150.25. Check. So I have no idea what this looks like, but I'm going to draw a sketch and then you might can match it up. What's our vertex? I mean, our y-intercept is 308, right? Positive 308. That's going to be way the heck up here. Our vertex is negative 70 and 1288, which is way up here. And our x-intercept is 10 and negative 150. So it's going to look something like that. So we know it's not C, right? You know it's not C, so it's either going to be, it looks like A. Now I don't know what else they're going to ask, but okay, the x coordinate of the vertex is negative 70, good. And that's going to be A, final, excellent. The vertex of the graph is at negative 70. Do you have to put parentheses on these things? Negative 70, comma, 1288. And you feel good about yourself. Nope. Do I need parentheses? I bet I need parentheses. Yep. You need parentheses, so make sure you put parentheses on the test. That's a good question. I like that question because it's what? Short and sweet. And, you know, if you can't, and I do realize that some of y'all are using your calculator. I realize that. We're not stupid. But you'll find it'll separate the men from the boys in calculus whenever you get to 230. It'll separate you. All right, number 17. All right, let's do that one. I'm just going to do complete the square because I'll worry about the graphing when we get there. But I'm going to go ahead and do complete the square. So that's going to be y, or x squared, plus 4x plus blank is equal to 96 plus blank. Half of 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So x plus 2, oh gosh, this is easy, is equal to 100. I'm saying it's easy as far as completing the square. Square root of both sides. What's our vertex? Negative 2 and what? Negative 100. That's our vertex. Our y-intercept is negative 96. That's our y-intercept. And finish, x plus 2 is equal to positive or negative 10. X is equal to positive or negative 10 minus 2. What's 10 minus 2? And what's negative 10 minus 2? So I guess you put those in. It looks like to me whoever did this did it, let's see, negative 12. Looks like it should be right. Oh, use the graph to determine, I don't know what they mean by that. Are you supposed to type them in? Who sent this one? Can I ask if you don't mind? Okay, they're not tall. Might be a, ghost. So, negative 8 or negative 12, comma, 0, comma, parentheses, 8, comma, 0.
That's how I did it, but
I have no idea how they want it.
Just put the intercepts, not the point.
Oh, you're not supposed to put the 0. Whatever. Now, see, in the last one, they wanted you to put the X and the Y. So here, I guess you're just supposed to read their damn mind. I don't know. Okay, that's a good. I don't like the question as way it's asking. I just want you to be able to do complete the square on everything. If you can do complete the square on all your homework, then you're good to go. Next, the other is just trivialities. That's number 17. Number 21.
yes, that's what I put in.
Profit for a product can be described as blah, 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 blah. Okay, first of all, I don't care what the question says. I want you to complete the square. So let's go ahead and do that. First of all, you got to write it the right way. Nobody ever writes an equation like that. So let's rewrite the equation and go ahead and set it equal to 0 or move the blanks, whatever you want to do. So negative x squared plus 232x plus blank is equal to 5,500 plus blank. All right, I'm going to let y'all work on it for a second. This is a test question because this is an application. So make sure, and it's in the first quadrant, probably going to be in the first quadrant. Why? Because in business, everybody wants to stay in the what? First quadrant. Unless you suck as a business person. Jake? You hear me?
Sir. Yeah.
What'd I say?
I don't know. I just heard you said something. I forgot he had a boat.
So would I be using this type of math as like a manager or somebody who just goes into like a
Business management, marketing, even accounting. Because that's why this is called business math, or business algebra or whatever. And the majority of your calculus classes are going to spend their time in the first quadrant because everything is what? Everything's positive. If you're positive in business world, that means you're making what?
money?
Negative means you suck, all right, or something's wrong. So that's why in your Calc 1 and 2, you're going to be spending a lot of time in the first quadrant.
Picked up sound really good.
Yeah, it picks up everything. Whisper. Jake is a loser. Jonathan has a great personality. Don't laugh. Somebody will beat the crap out of you when you go outside in the hallway. Don't laugh, Pendleton. Keep a straight face.
No.
You're supposed to follow protocol, Pendleton.
I'm trying to keep them quiet.
Okay.
You keep trying to make them laugh.
Somebody don't even know what protocol is. Look it up. That's what Google's for. All right. So, negative x, we're going to factor that out, or negative 1. I'll do this for y'all. X squared minus 232x plus blank is equal to 5,500 plus negative 1 times blank. All right, now this is going to be hard for y'all. What's half of 232? And what's 116 squared? It's going to be a BA number. 116 squared. We don't need it over here, but we need it over here. So what's one? I'll just put 116 squared. Y'all can do it. We'll write it down there. Okay, so that's going to be negative 1 times x minus 116 quantity squared is equal to 5,500 minus, what's 116 squared? I'm sorry, what? 13,456. Okay, so that's going to be negative 1 times x minus 116 quantity squared is equal to, and what's that? What's 5,500 minus 13,456? I know it's negative. Just give me the number. 7,900 and what?
56.
Did everybody get that? Appreciate it.
That's
Appreciate it.
What's the square root of 116 squared? What is the square root? You take the square root of that. That's for your A. Take the square root of that, and that's your B. What's 232 divided by 2?
Whoa.
116 squared is 116 squared. I didn't do it over here. You can write 13,456 right there if you want to, but I knew it was going to turn back into 116, so I just left it like that. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 116, comma, 7956 is your vertex. All right, so let's find the x-intercepts. So -1 is going to be x minus 116 quantity squared is equal to 7956. Somebody, that's 116, right? The square root of 7956? No, it's not. What is it? Somebody tell me what it is. And yes, you need to use your calculator because you're not Rain Man.
89.196.
Equals positive or negative 89.196, 89.2. And that's going to be x is equal to positive or negative 89.2 plus 116. So somebody give me, it's going to be two positives, so we ain't got to worry about the signs. So what's the first positive?
205.2.
205.2. What's the other one? 26.8. So this function looks like this. What's our vertex? Our vertex is 116 and 8,000. And our y-intercept is what? Negative, is it negative 5,500? Yeah, negative 5,500, which is way the heck down here. And 205 and 26. So, looks something like that. I have no idea what it's asking for. Let's look and see. What is the maximum possible profit? Well, that means at 116 units, you're making 79.56 on the profit. So that would be your, to maximize profits, 79.56 units must be produced. Capiche? Who is the spokesman for Pendleton? Do y'all understand? Does the spokesman speak for the rest of the class? Y'all understand that?
Just fine. We got it.
Boom. Okay. So that should be 79.56. Okay, at 116 then, whatever. The profit is 79.56. I'm sorry, I thought I misread.
See, I put
116 is the answer.
I did it wrong.
Well, you need to type in 116.
Let's see if it works again.
Well, you probably changed, see if it works.
It works.
There's the profit, 79.56. All right, so that's a good test question. Make sure you put the X in first. I put the Y in, sorry. Good test question. So whoever sent it, that's a good question.
This guy right here.
Oh, that's good. Jake, you didn't send any questions, man. Well, what's the problem?
I can't get in to do it.
Okay. 3.122. All right, same type question. Go ahead, I'm going to let y'all do this one. Because this is a good test. I'll write it on the board for those people that sit in the back of the room and can't see. Best place for you. R of x is equal to negative 7x squared plus 28,000x. I think I wrote it down correctly. Now, you may be able to solve this one easier than completing the square. You can factor out a 7x maybe. So go back to your Algebra 1 way to solve, or your Algebra 2 way to solve. Set it equal to 0. Do not use completing the square. Just factor out a common term, and it'll make it a whole lot easier. I knew those things came up. Yesterday we were having problems with the Polycom, the camera, and yesterday the green lights wasn't on. And I knew something was wrong and I couldn't record. That's what was wrong. Damn Ukrainians.
It was the ADL that time.
Yeah. I can't believe it. Well, there's only 2 or 3 that used the videos, but they saw that. My trig class, there was a girl in the trig class that saw that on YouTube. I'm a racist. What is ADL anyway?
It's
Anti-Defamation League.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to ask me what they actually do, it's more so just a group of hush money.
Yeah. Well, that's what. Okay, shut up, Hubert. Shut up, Hubert. That's what a lot of groups do. They promote racism so they can make what? Money. I loved what Ellen DeGeneres said. Did y'all see what she said? And I don't agree with her at all, but on this one I did. She said if you disagree with somebody, you can still be friends with them. What a concept.
Dang.
Yeah. No, you're supposed to shout them and beat them up when you have your black mask on.
What was she talking about?
She was sitting beside W at the Dallas Cowboy game, and she was criticized for sitting with somebody.
Really? And she's probably like on the left side.
No, people are.
No, she's extremely left. And I've got several teacher friends. They're extremely left, but we still talk to each other. No, I guess we live in a society today, if you disagree with somebody, you can beat the hell out of them.
No, that is crazy. If someone like
7x squared plus 28,000, be quiet. X is equal to 0. I'm going to factor out, I don't care if you factor out a negative, you don't have to, but negative 7, because it's going to be 0. X, and what does that leave? X plus what?
always that.
4,000. Is it 4,000?
4,000, yeah, I said 40.
Is equals 0. Negative 7x is equal to 0. X plus 4,000 is equal to 0. And that's going to be, x is equal to 0. That's one x-intercept. The other x-intercept is what? Negative 4,000. So we know this is not in our quadrant because we wanted everything to be in the first quadrant. This one's in the what? It's in the second quadrant. Now, they want to know the vertex. So in this case, you're going to have to use completing the square. Yeah, that would be the best. So let's go ahead and do it. So negative 7x squared plus 28,000x plus blank is equal to 0 plus blank. Factor out a negative 7, and that's going to be x squared minus 4,000x plus blank is equal to 0 plus negative 7 times blank. What's half of 4,000?
2,000.
And 2,000 squared is 2,000 squared, which is 40,000. Somebody check me on the calculator, or is it 400,000? It should be 400,000.
Actually 4 million.
Yeah.
Okay, x squared, or x minus 2,000 quantity squared is equal to negative 4 million.
Yep.
And that's going to be our vertex, 2,000, comma, 4 million. Okay, there's something wrong. That's supposed to be negative. Isn't this supposed to be negative? Yeah. Supposed to be a negative.
How'd you find it out?
Because, look at this, where's the vertex? The vertex is in the what quadrant? You can't have the vertex in the first quadrant and cross over and have two X-intercepts in the second quadrant. So that's why I knew something was wrong over here. That's called what is it called? Critical thinking, yeah. That's the difference between the cashier that can make change and the cashier that gives you a dumbass look whenever you give her 6 cents, or him 6 cents. So, 2,000 units must be sold, and possible outcome is 4 million, and you feel good about yourself. Nope, you do not. Did I put enough? Okay, y'all must have done something wrong. What'd y'all do wrong?
What if that negative wasn't positive?
No. Okay, they got 28 million. So evidently I did something. Oh, I forgot to multiply it by 7, dork. I forgot to multiply by -7. Sorry. That was my fault. Negative 28,000. It's not like anybody's paying attention anyway. So negative 28,000, 28 million. So that's supposed to be 28 million. I forgot to multiply by the -7.
Oh, you left it.
Yeah, I forgot to multiply. So there you could actually done that. I did a different way to find the X-intercepts. You didn't even need to find the X-intercepts. My bad. But it doesn't hurt you to learn. Yeah. Heaven forbid y'all learn something extra. Bernie's going to take care of you. Bernie's walking. He walked the block the other day.
Didn't you have like Untitled some?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, bro.
28. I have no idea. The owner of an apartment complex can rent all 225 apartments if he charges $8.75 per apartment per month. But the number of apartments rented is reduced by 5 for every $35 whatever. Okay? Construct a table that gives the revenue if the rent charged is $9.10, $9.45, and $9.80. Okay. Reduced by 5 for every $35. Okay, so I guess we have to figure out what's the difference between these 4. Somebody, okay, there's 35. So, trying to see, where do you subtract from? Do you subtract from 225? I'm assuming.
Subtract from 220.
Okay, so that's going to be 225. That's going to be 220. That's going to be what? 215 and 210.
Yeah.
Okay, why? Okay, whatever. So, 220. I can understand the next question because they want you to do a quadratic, but I don't understand this. But anyway, 215 and 210. Now, the second part, I have no idea.
Numbers, but it's only like 2 slots.
Okay, somebody help me out here. Does anybody understand what the hell they're doing? Because I have no earthly idea. I understand the second part. I have no earthly idea what they're doing here. Because... What? What, you want me to lie to you? You want me to lie to you and say I know what they're doing? No, I don't. I have no idea what they're doing.
Join the club.
We'll figure that out. I know what the second one is. Does R of X is equal to blah, blah, blah. Okay, do B. What are you going to have to do? Well, you got to do FOIL. So do FOIL and see what you come up with. Or you could set it equal to 0 and find your X-intercepts. You could do that. I want to see what the actual graph looks like, so I would do FOIL.
Yeah.
I really don't understand what they're, 200, 200, 203, 175. From 220, from 875 to 910 is 35, right? I don't understand what they're doing.
875 times 2.
I have no earthly idea where they got the 203 and then they go 205 to. I have no earthly idea how they did that. I'm just going to do the second part because that's the only thing I know how to do. We'll go back to the first part when we figure out what the heck's going on with the model.
Oh, so them 6 numbers were like side by side.
I don't know. So 875,
There's 6 numbers right on.
875 plus 35x times 225 minus 5x. And I'm going to turn that around because nobody writes it well. So 875 times 225 plus negative 5x times 875 plus 35x times 225 plus 35x times negative 5x. So I know we got some VA numbers here, but I have no earthly idea. We'll have to look at the explain on that first part. But I would assume they're talking about a quadratic because they're asking you, what is this right here? What's maximum? That's what? Vertex. In order to find the vertex, you got to have a quadratic to complete the square, or to punch in your idiot box with a quadratic formula. Or we can do this on the idiot box by graphing it and finding. We'll do it that way. So somebody give me these numbers. What you got here? 196. 875 plus. Well, this is going to be 0.5, a negative. Okay, just do, what's negative 5x times 875?
4375.
4375x plus, what's 35 times 225?
7,875.
Hey.
X minus 5 times 35 is 205? 205? No, 75. 175? Negative 175x squared. Okay, so somebody add the middle two for me, and we got negative 175 x squared, and that's going to be minus 4375. It's going to be a positive. So what's negative 4375 plus 7875?
3,500. 3,500. Yeah.
And then plus 196 875. And this, you're going to punch in your calculator, and we're going to find the vertex. Now, what told me to do that? Well, you got big ass numbers. You got big ass numbers, you need to punch it in your calculator.
That's about right.
Unless you're like Rain Man. So let's take our handy dandy calculator. I'm gonna have to go out of here for a second. Move that over. Take your handy dandy calculator. I'm going to use the TI-83 because it's a whole lot more user friendly. And that's going to give me negative 175 x squared plus 3500 x plus 196,875. And graph, and of course it's not going to graph it because it's going to be very difficult to see. Let's see if we can, what is it, zoom fit? What is zoom fit? 9 or 0? Zoom fit is 0. Yeah, it's not going to do it. So we'll have to just zoom out. You can zoom out or you can set the, well, it might be better to set the window. So let me get out of this and set the window. We know that the y-intercept is 200,000, right? So we need to set the y-intercept for -1 and 200,000. And let's just see what it looks like. Okay, the vertex must be way out. So let me go zoom out. You'd have to figure out your X-intercepts. Okay, evidently it's going to be very difficult to pull this up. This is not a good math question, or not a good test question. Takes too much time to do this. So let's go ahead and do completing the square so we can find the, so let's see if I can copy this. Copy, where's my copy? Go to the whiteboard. Paste. Y'all are impressed, aren't you? I've had me some training. All right, so here we go. -175 x squared plus 3500 x plus blank is equal to -196,875. Now we're going to do, I want you to use your calculator here. We're not going to do, so divide by -175 and multiply by -175 here. And that's going to be x squared minus, somebody take 3,500, divide by 175. What do you get?
-20.
Negative what?
20.
Oh, that's nice. X, sorry. Plus blank is equal to -196,875 plus parentheses times -175. That's going to be 100 and 100. So half of 20 is what? 10? 10 squared. So -175 times x minus 10, quantity squared, is equal to, okay, that's going to be -17,500, right? So somebody add those two together. Tell me what you get. $214,000 what?
375.
Is that what everybody got?
Yep.
So our vertex is 10, comma, 214,375. Is that what they're asking for? They may be asking for the vertex. I don't know. Somebody write that down because I'm not gonna remember it. Now, divide by 175. Divide by negative 175. And x minus 10, quantity squared, is equal to, somebody get, I know it's positive. What's 214, 375 divided by 175?
1225.
1225 or 12 point, this be 1225?
Yeah, 1,205.
Okay, now take the square root. What is the square root of 1225? I'm sorry, what?
35.
35?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's nice. So what's 35 plus 10?
45.
And negative 35 plus 10 is negative 25. So in this case, it'll be a whole lot easier to do it by hand than by the calculator.
If it's plus to negative 35, won't that be like a negative 25?
I don't know. Let's see. 35 plus, that'd be 45. Negative 35 plus 10 is negative 25.
That's a negative 10.
Yeah, but you bring it over and it's positive.
I was following you too, man. I was like,
All right, so look in your, so I don't know what they're asking for here. This is a, does the function Rx model the revenue? Hell, I don't know. I don't even understand the first part of the question. What is the monthly rent that produces maximum? So what's the monthly rent that produces the maximum? Be the X. What is the X? 100? Or what was the... All right, I'll go back. I asked y'all to write it down, but evidently y'all didn't. 10? Be 10?
Yeah.
Make sure. So I guess we'll put in 10. I don't think that's right. $10 a month ain't right.
I'm trying to lie.
Yeah, it must be the, let's just, this question is not 1225. 1225. 1225, that was our, that was that right there. Oh. My bad. I did this number. 1225, that's your vertex right there. I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. The vertex is not 214, 375. The vertex is 1225. I took it right here. My bad. It's this right here, 1225. My bad. 1225. So that's what they're asking for. I will be safe to say that this is not a test question, and I still don't know how they got those first two problems. I'm going to look right quick to see if I can explain it after I try to understand it. So I'm going to look at it right quick and see what they're doing. Is that the question? Okay, right here. Revenue. Looks like to me they're taking the slope. So 1,025, yeah, they're taking the slope. So do that with each one is the only thing I know to do. So 480 minus 6. I'm going to look over this question. We're going to go over that one again. We're going to go over this question again after I look at it. I don't want to skip this question, but I don't want to do it right now because I've got to go over and look at it because I've never seen it before. So just hold off on that question right now. That's number 73, and it's number what online? 28. So make sure you don't do 28 right yet unless unless you wrote it. And if you wrote it, then that's nice. Let's look at number 27. Is this the same type? No, this is one that I like. This is one that I always put on a test. is whenever we find, okay, if a softball is hit with an upward velocity of 48 feet per second, when t is equal to 0 from a height of 7 feet. Height of 7 feet means nothing except for a 7. Okay, find the function of the model. Okay, a softball is hit with an upward velocity of 48 feet per second when t is equal to 0. They've got to give you more than that.
Something about negatives.
There, see, they left out one little thing. They left out the thing that you're supposed to know,
Yeah.
and that is a projection formula. So write that projection formula down.
That's basically just something we're gonna have to know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, they should have put it in the question.
yeah, I didn't get that.
Yeah, that's why a lot of times they don't put it in the question. So it's S is equal to, that's feet. The height of a ball is negative 16 t squared plus your initial velocity plus your initial height. Negative 16 t squared plus your initial velocity times t plus your initial height. Well, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a quadratic. And you need to put your numbers in there, and then you can do the complete square. So go ahead and do that. You've got your 48 feet per second. So just to show you, there. 176 goes in the middle, so your 48 is going to go in the middle. And your height of 7 feet is going to go at the end. So write this down. Yours is going to be, there it is right there, negative 16 t squared plus 48t plus 7. Now, let me see who asked this question. Mr. Marshall, where are you?
Right here.
If they gave you that formula, would you be able to do it?
Probably.
Yeah, they don't give you the formula. So you need to write that down. I knew when I saw this question, I knew they didn't give you the formula.
There was something very similar to that on the first test we did.
Mhm.
It was Fahrenheit and Celsius.
Yeah,
It's like
I'll have to look at it. I'll have to look at it. So, S is equal to negative 16 t squared plus your initial velocity, that's what V sub O means, that's your initial velocity, times t plus your initial what? Initial height. So S is equal to negative 16 t squared plus parentheses t plus parentheses, and of course you're going to plug in the 48 here and you're going to plug in the 7 here. S is equal to negative 16 t squared plus 48t plus 7. Now I want you to graph that. Sketch that graph. Because this is one of those things that is applicable, physics applicable. You need to be able to sketch that graph. Now you know it's going to cross the y-axis where? Y'all are so smart. Appreciate the input, Pendleton.
Yeah, I noticed some of these questions are kind of vague.
Yeah, I mean, when you, it's like this. It's just like anywhere you work. You got people that specialize. Like, let's say you're a writer, and you write for a magazine or a publisher in New York or something. You give all your information to the guy that puts it in print. He's going to mess up something. Okay? Same thing here. You got these people that write the questions, and then they send it to the computer person, and guess what? Things get messed up. And that question, I'll be honest with y'all. I know Pendleton, y'all not paying attention, but that question before this one, I've never seen that question before. So I'm going to have to brush up on whatever they're asking for. It's a little bit, to me, that question is a little bit in the weeds. It's a little bit too much. It's, what do you call it, busy work? It's too busy. It's too much in it. but I'm just a teacher, what I know. What do you think, Jake?
Ain't even in
I
class.
want to go get something to drink.
Jake sucks.
Jay still can't get on that.
I can't believe he's still using Blackboard.
Mathisfun.com.
Can I ask y'all a question? Didn't I tell y'all to go to Pearson.com or tctc.mylabsplus.com? Didn't I tell y'all to do that?
I'm sure I have it written
Yes.
down.
Yeah.
Put it up there on
Okay. And why did I tell y'all to do that?
Blackboard.
Because Blackboard never what? It never works, or if it does work, it screws up something. So I know Jake's not going to watch his videos, so I can talk about him. So here we go. Negative 16 t squared plus 48 t plus blank is equal to negative 7 plus blank. Negative 16 parentheses t squared minus 3t plus blank is equal to negative 7 plus negative 16 times blank. Half of 3 is 3 halves. 3 halves squared is what? 9 fourths. Negative 16 times t minus 3 halves, quantity squared, is equal to, that 16 and that 4 will go out. 4 times 9 is what? Negative 36 minus 7 is negative what? 43? I'm just waiting for the noise to end. Okay? All right, so my vertex is 3 halves, comma, that was nice, Jake, 43.
Hey, that wasn't me.
Okay.
I
Now
promise.
finish it.
My
Divide
vote's
by
more
negative
than
16. Somebody do this in your calculator for me, because we're going to plot this, and you're going to need to be in calculator form. So t minus 1.5 quantity squared is equal to, what is 43 divided by 16? Give me 2 decimal points. 2.69?
Negative.
I'll be positive. Okay, now somebody take the square root of 2.69 for me, and that'll be t minus 1.5 is equal to positive or negative. What's square root of 2.69?
1.64.
1.64, and that's going to be plus 1.5. So 1.64 plus 1.5 is 3.1. Somebody help me out there. 3.14. Can somebody check me? And negative 1.64 plus 1.5 is negative 0.14. Check my math. So now we're going to draw it. Now, why are we going to draw all this? Because we need to see what the heck's going on. Because, you know, now you could use a calculator, but then again, how much critical thinking do you do there? So, 0.14 is right in here. And of course, if you're throwing and you're 7 feet tall or above, you know, whatever the case may be, if you're throwing, if you project that parabola behind you, it's going to be in the negative, right? Because you're standing at 0, correct?
Right.
So anything behind you is going to be less than 7 feet. So that's why your X-intercept is negative. So here's where you're throwing it. And there's where the other X-intercept is, where it hits the what? Ground. And this is your vertex. That's where you're Michael Jordan. You're either going up or what? Down. And of course back here, anything is going to be below 7 feet, and it's going to be behind you. So because this is 0, so that's the way that goes. So you don't care about the negative. All right. So the vertex is 1/2 1.5, right? And 43 feet. What'd you say, Jake?
That says you're hitting it, not throwing it.
Okay, whatever the case may be. Let's split hairs 3 ways, Jake. If I pitch to you and you're at home plate and home plate is 0 and you miss it, where's the ball going to fall? Is it going to fall at home plate or is it going to fall behind home plate?
Behind the plate.
Behind is what? Positive or negative?
Negative.
Thank you, Jake. So that's 43 feet. So is that what they're asking? The maximum height is 43 feet. Now, a lot of you, I know there's 10% of the class going, that's a lot of work. Yes, but are you learning something? You should be. Probably 80% of you are learning, and probably 50 to 60% of you are going, I can do this. I didn't know I could do completing the square. Of course, you got 10% of the class that invented completing the square, and you got 10% of the class that don't even know what we're doing. So I'm excluding those people. But the majority of the class is either saying, okay, I understand how to do this, or they're saying, I'm learning how to do completing the square because I can now do completing the square without too much thinking. And of course, the other 20% are going, this is stupid. So.
Is that dot right there?
Oh, Lord, what?
That dot right there where it goes down into, is that the 7 right
That's
there?
the negative 0.14.
No, I'm talking about the dot above it.
The dot above it is 7. That's your
Okay.
y-intercept.
Cool.
So you should be able to start putting this stuff together, and it should start making a little bit of sense. Nobody's going to say anything. Okay. Appreciate
It's
it.
making a little bit of sense, but it's like.
Yeah, but how many, let me ask you this. The first day we started completing the square, where were you? No. Where were you as far as understanding how to do completing the square? There's a lot of you that were lost, right?
Yeah, I would say I understood
Halloween,
it better
that's why.
than when I understood it back in, all the way back in.
Good. How about you, Pendleton? Oh, again, a head nod? Oh, well, that's something. That's a major breakthrough with Pendleton.
Don't worry, we're gonna have a talk about that head nod later.
Yeah, I guarantee you, the poor girl's going to get beat up when she goes outside.
We'll protect you.
Come to Anderson. We won't beat you up, Pendleton.
I might show up Thursday. Oh, I'll be there Thursday.
Yeah, I bet. We're going to have beats, and y'all ain't going to have any because y'all going to show up and nobody thought you were going to show
And
up.
we get 2 extra points.
All right, we'll see about that.
All right. We'll just have a keg, too, while we're here.
Hey, I'll bring the keg. Come back here.
All right, I'm just going to count everybody here. Y'all get out of here. Have a good day.
I'll see you Thursday.
All right, Jake, and what's your name? I'm sorry.
Hey.
I can't remember names worth the flip. The only reason I remember Jake is because Jake from State Farm. I'm sorry,
That's right.
Jake from State Farm.